Well, there were a lot of legitimately tough wrestlers all the time. I mean, being tough isn't something you just go through a period. You know, like really tougher. But I think, you know, my dad used to always say, you know, a lot of guys felt that Haku was one of the toughest guys in the dressing room. I'm just saying that my dad used to always say, and I'll imitate him. He'd say, "I'd like to see the guy that's going to take Earthquake off his feet." And I think about it and I go, undefeated sumo wrestler, undefeated amateur wrestler, undefeated in every kind of type of wrestling you could think of. Not too many guys pushing Earthquake around. He was super tough, man. I think I don't have any doubt he would have been a gold medalist if he decided he wanted a gold medal. But he was undefeated Canadian heavyweight champion. No one even touched him. No one could beat him. He had, you know, if you ever look at him, he was a big guy, big fat, like a heavy guy. You look at his legs.
Yeah,
they're like tree trunks, man. They're like those ones in Oregon that are big redwoods. They're like huge. There's nobody pushing him anywhere. I don't even know if an elephant could push him too far.
John, I always say John is my brother from another mother. You know, when people ask me about him, I would be blessed if he was, you know, my brother. He was loving. He was kind. He was a good father. He was a good husband and tremendous human being. A very talented guy. You know, as big as he was, is just how humble and nice. He wrestled for the Canadian Olympic team. He was undefeated when he wrestled sumo in Japan. He, you know, and people can watch many videos and YouTube stuff, you know, of, you know, anybody that hadn't seen him work in person, you know, what a tremendous pro wrestler he was, you know, and, but he was just I got a picture somewhere, Lanny, of me, my family, and his family at Disney World when we were wrestling. We were tag champions, and we're in the Dumbo ride with Mickey Mouse ears on. Okay, 400-pound guys, you know, and John, you know, was probably between 450, 460, you know, and both of us, you know, 6'7", 6'8", you know, and oh my God, you know, the people were like, had the moon, their eyes looked like big plates, you know, and we would laugh and cut up. And I don't have to tell you, on the road, you know, it's hard a lot, you know, being away from your family, you know, you're with the guys you wrestle more than you're at home with your family, you know, it's that kind of business, you know, but he was just wonderful, man. I loved him to death. Matter of fact, his son, Johnny, who lives in Houston, he got married last December. He sent me and him have the only pipe of his in existence. He sent it, and I thought that was the most awesome and most wonderful thing. He's friends with my older son, Berkeley, that works for WWE now, and he's good friends with him. When he comes to town, they go out to eat. They go to he brings them to the show. You know, I'm glad they have a good relationship.
But I remember John Tenta, Earthquake. You know, they called him the Shark when he came in WCW. I don't know why they did that. But Earthquake was a sumo wrestler, and he was very, very, very well. He could handle himself very well. And I used to, I mean, this is a almost 500-pound man, and I used to grapple with him on a regular basis. You know, I would waist lock him, you know, when he wasn't looking. And
in the ring, or this was
in the back, in the locker room. And he tried to shake me off, and I would just be all over him, man. And God rest his soul, man. He moved to Houston, and he had cancer, and he was getting some chemo treatments. And he lived, and it was crazy. He lived right down the street from my house.
That's right now?
In Friendswood,
oh,
yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, you know, this is cool. So I used to go and visit him, and we used to talk all the time. And one day we were talking, and it's many, many years after WCW, literally many, many years. And he looks at me and he goes, you know, Booker, I never told you, but you're a really good wrestler. He said, no, man, no, really, man, you're a really good wrestler, man. He said, all the stuff you used to do with me back in the day, nobody could actually get away with doing that kind of stuff. You know, and it was crazy, you know, so.
No, that was Vince and them's idea, but the part that I came up with was being tied in the ropes. They wanted me to get knocked out of the ring and then hurt outside the ring and not see it. But my idea is, fuck, man, if you really want to hurt me, rape my wife in front of me, please. And so being tied in the ropes and helpless while he does that shit was pretty awesome. And then, of course, having to deal with the RSPCA whenever I got back in the back, because they had to be there. And they had to see the snake before and after. And, of course, we had switch bags underneath the ring. I don't know if you know what was in that bag.
No.
60 pounds of hamburger meat in women's pantyhose. That way, that was my idea. That way, when he squished it, blood would seep out.
This man was a highly capable sumo wrestler from America, and he went to Japan and displayed his skills. So in the ring, this man could tear a person apart, and nobody really knew that because he had such a great personality.
Yeah.
I've only seen this man upset once in my life.
Or because WCW gave him a ridiculous gimmick like the shark.
And I remember him saying that. I'm not a shark. I'm a man. I remember him saying that. I'm a man. I'm not a shark. I'm not a typhoon or whatever earthly destruction that can come, or earthquake or volcano or atom bomb. Things blow up. We was doing one of these shows from Club La Vila down in Florida. They had this big pool, this big spring break.
That's where they put the ring in the middle and they had the pool around it. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Apparently, John Tenta was going to be involved. You might want to look this up. I don't know if he was going to be involved with the Four Horsemen in some way, shape, or form. But they changed the angle on the telecast without telling him. Then all of a sudden, the door pops open. Bam! Goddamn motherfucker! And me and my brother sitting there like, what's wrong with Tenta? That son of a bitch! I'll stretch his fucking ass! Me and my brother kind of reluctant to ask him, who is this person that you actually ticked off?
Who's the
right
dead
now?
man walking?
Yeah. Now you got to realize John Tenta, a big man.
Yeah.
Tall, huge. He's throwing stuff. He's hitting the wall. He's livid. So me and my brother go, John, calm down, man. What's up? That son of a bitch, he said blah, blah, blah. And he was talking about Arn Anderson. Now, I've never had a conversation with Arn Anderson about it because when I was growing up, my mother would always tell me and my brother, stay out of grown folks' business. So my name is Bennett and I ain't in it. But Tenta is a friend, and we were trying to calm him down. The man was red. That's how mad he was. Apparently, Arn came and did a promo, and he said something about they're not ready. Some words to that effect like, well, he's not ready, or they're not ready. And Tenta said when he said that in the interview, Arn Anderson looked at him. And I guess whatever the anger was has been squashed, and he didn't know until that moment. But this man was ready to kill somebody.
Yeah.
What went on out there, I never even seen the show, so I really can't recall it because I never saw that show.
Yeah.
For some reason. But I just remember this guy, man, I never seen anybody this pissed off since I've been in the professional wrestling business. And then as he's boiling over, oh, expletive this, expletive that, son of a bitch, I will do this, I will stretch this, he doesn't know, I will do this, I will, and we're trying to figure out who. And he said, Arn Anderson, that's who. And, you know, Arn, that's my boy. You know what I'm saying? I've got utmost respect for Arn Anderson. And all of a sudden, he's tearing the place up, hitting the wall. The door, because, you know, trailers got a door on this end, a door on this end. The door opens on this end. It's Arn Anderson.
Oh, no.
Arn looks in and sees, he just closes the door right back.
Did Tenta see him?
No.
He didn't see him.
And
Okay.
me and my brother didn't tell him either. Me and my brother saw him. His back was turned. He was tearing something up on the other end. So when the door opened, Arn could hear this.
Yeah.
And me and my brother looked. We were about to say, dog, don't come in here.
Yeah.
You know, we looked at each other like, wow.
Yeah.
So shortly after that, he finally calmed down a little. Then that's when they came to get us, to take us, you know, into, hey, it's time for you guys to go, Ralph. We never mentioned it. We just kind of laugh about it for a while, you know, amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
But, man, that's, I'll never forget that. Never forget it. That's my boy, man. God rest his soul, man. But
John Tenta.
He was my boy, man.
I mean, for something that was so heated, I never heard about it. And one thing I need to make clear, even though I was never told what to say verbatim on promos, I was at least given bullet points of where the angle was going to go.
Sure.
So that I knew what I was talking about. And I certainly would not have changed direction of that promo. And I went back and looked at it because it's been, you know, popped up so many times, you know, this subject matter. And I didn't remember it being anything heated because there was never a confrontation. But anyway, you know, those guys, I barely remember how long they were with Piper. It couldn't have been for just a minute. And the content of that promo would have had to have came, you know, from Eric. He would have had to give me some ground rules that we were changing angles and all that stuff. I just wouldn't have went off on a tangent and said, Piper, you need to come with us. Those guys aren't experienced enough to pull this off. That's not something that I would have just changed directions on without having some direction. And I'm not pointing a finger or passing anything. I mean, the angle changed. So you know, it's not my fault the angle changed. I didn't know that I was being disrespectful to anybody. I was just saying what was given me and put in my words, not passing the buck. I don't even remember that I would have thought, if that's something that would have stood out and I would have went, boy, that's really dumping on those guys. Anybody that knows me knows I'm not a fan of dumping on other talent. You build other talent up so that when you go to war with them, you've got a war with somebody good. And if they beat you, somebody good beat you. You don't just tear a talent down and make them look bad, because if they turn around and beat you, then somebody lousy beat you.
Right.
That was just the way I conduct business. So I don't remember having a conversation, but I'm sure I got some bullet points. And if John felt slighted, I feel bad about that. He was always a gentleman, always nice to me. I was always nice to him. Just one of those things, I guess. I'm glad I wasn't in that trailer when he came in there, if that was really the case. And I'm sure Stevie Ray and Booker wouldn't say something wasn't so.
I want to be careful how I say this. I'm such a visceral person. I just say whatever comes to my mind, and sometimes that's not always great. When I say that the expectations weren't that high, what I mean is no one was looking at John Tenta coming into WCW to recreate the success that he had in WWF when he had it. It wasn't 1988 or 89 or 90 or whatever period it was that John was doing so well in WWE. Time had changed. Certainly by the time, not by the time Tenta came in, but shortly thereafter, the style of our own product changed substantially. So, in terms of my expectations, he met them, possibly exceeded them because he was such a pro. But it's not like we brought the guy in expecting, major things. He was a supporting cast member.